And welcome to my channel or back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the truth about residential versus business internet and why no one talks about it. All right, let's be honest. How many of you are using your residential internet to work from home, stream, or run a business? Yeah, I see you. Technically, you're breaking the rules, but don't worry about it. You're in good company. The best part, your internet provider knows. They just don't say anything because if they did, well, they'd have a whole new problem on their hands. Once upon a time in a world before Zoom meetings and influencers, businesses had business lines, and home internet was strictly personal. No one was running full-scale operations from their kitchen table. Fast forward to today, and suddenly everyone's a live streamer, content creator, or remote worker. We're all treating our residential internet like it's a business plan, except it's not. Here's where it gets interesting. If providers started enforcing the difference between business and residential internet, you'd see a flood of people switching to business plan. And you know what happens next? Lawsuits. Business accounts come with legal protections, meaning providers could be on the hook for lost revenue when there's an outage. For residential customers, you have nothing. So telecom companies do the smart thing. They let us bend the rules and hope we don't ask too many questions. Now let's talk about taxes. Some of y'all out here are deducting your home internet as a business expense. And, well, let's just say the IRS might have a different opinion about that. Technically, if you're running an actual business, you should have a business plan for your internet, not just residential service. But most people just write it off without thinking about the distinction. The IRS knows people do this, but if they start cracking down, they have to justify those random audits, and suddenly people are losing deductions left and right. At the end of the day, the whole system is outdated. Work from home culture blew up overnight, but internet providers are still operating like it's 1999. They haven't created hybrid plans, they haven't changed their pricing models, so we just keep playing the game. Honestly, the way things are going, we're all just waiting for the day they decide to enforce the rules. Until then, enjoy breaking the terms of service in peace. And if you think internet rules are messy, don't even get me started on content creators casually filming in restaurants and public spaces. That's a whole other gray area. Technically a business, but treated just like another person snapping pics of their food. No permits, no official approval, just rolling cameras. But hey, as long as no one complains, it's all good, right? So what do you think? Should internet providers offer a middle ground for work from home users? Or should we all keep pretending our personal internet is business friendly? Because it's not. If there's an outage that affects your business and you're on a residential plan, you have no recourse to sue for lost income because it's not a business. You're not supposed to be making money on a residential line. You're supposed to be playing a game or trolling the internet or doing something like that, but not generating income. That is for business customers. All right, let's break this down even further because business phone lines and business internet plans actually function differently from residential ones. And if you're running a business from home or out of your car, this matters more than you think. A business phone line isn't just about having a separate number, it comes with legal protections and priority service. If a residential phone line goes down, it's an inconvenience. But if a business phone line goes down, that company could potentially sue the provider for lost revenue. This is why businesses get their lines repaired first. And it's also why residential users, even if they're working remotely, don't have much legal ground to demand compensation. Same deal with business internet plans. They usually come with guaranteed speeds, dedicated support, and backup services. Stuff that residential users don't get. So if your internet crashes and you miss a client deadline, well, unless you're on a business plan, that's just tough luck. Now let's talk about home-based businesses versus business run out of a car, van, or mobile setup. Because the legal aspects of using internet and phone services change depending on where you operate. If you run a business from home, you can sometimes deduct part of your expenses, like utilities, equipment, and even internet, but only if it's a dedicated workspace. You're casually working in your kitchen, that's personal use, not business use, unless you run a professional kitchen or have that set up dedicated for just producing videos from your kitchen. But if your business is mobile, like selling products from your car or doing freelance work on the go, things change. You need a business service plan for your phone or hotspot, and using personal internet for business gets legally tricky. A lot of people don't think about these distinctions, but telecom companies and tax regulators do. If they ever decide to crack down, yeah, suddenly a lot of small business owners might be in trouble. We've all gotten so used to it. We take it for granted, assume it's fine, and never stop to consider what was once common knowledge. Residential service and business class service are two completely different things. Yet every day I see content creators, streamers, and remote workers frustrated because their internet has been down for days. In the comments, full people telling them to demand compensation or sue for lost income. But the reality is, they're not business users. They're actually violating their provider's terms of service. I wonder how many of us actually read those terms, and more importantly, remember them as time goes on. Because as much as we like to believe our home internet is meant for business, technically and legally, it never was. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again at another time.